Hello, dear listeners. It's me again, Alexian, your storyteller, wizard, and faithful friend. Welcome to my Library of Wonders, a place where the most amazing stories come to life. Today, I will tell you about a tiny girl who went through many trials to find her happiness. As always, my magical compass will guide us to this tale. Ready? Then let's spin the compass and embark on our journey. Once upon a time, in a small town, there lived a lonely woman. She dreamed of having a child, but the years passed, and her wish never came true. So she sought help from a kind fairy. The fairy gave her a magical seed and said, "Plant it in a pot, and your wish will come true." The woman planted the seed, and soon a beautiful flower, resembling a tulip, grew from it. When the petals opened, inside the flower was a tiny girl, no taller than an inch. The woman named her Thumbelina and loved her as her own daughter. Thumbelina lived happily. At night, she slept in a bed made from a walnut shell, and during the day, she played on the table among the flowers. But one night, a large toad climbed through the window. Seeing Thumbelina, the toad decided she would make a perfect wife for her son. The toad grabbed the girl, carried her away, and placed her on a lily pad in the middle of a river. When Thumbelina woke up and saw where she was, she became very frightened and cried bitterly. Her cries were heard by the fish living in the river. They felt sorry for the girl, gnawed through the stem of the lily pad, and the leaf, along with Thumbelina, floated down the river. Soon, the leaf drifted to the shore, and Thumbelina found herself in a forest. In the forest, she met a May beetle. He picked her up with his legs and carried her to a tree, deciding she would be his companion. But the other beetles began to laugh at the girl because she didn't look like the mustached beetles. So the beetle set her down from the tree and left her alone. Thumbelina had to find shelter and food on her own. Summer passed. Autumn came, and then winter. Thumbelina was very cold and hungry, but one day she met a kind field mouse. The mouse took her in and cared for her. In return, Thumbelina helped the mouse with household chores and sang her songs. One day the mouse said, "My neighbour, a wealthy mole, will visit us. He's looking for a wife, and I'm sure he'll like you." The mole was enchanted by Thumbelina. He proposed to her and invited her to live with him underground. But Thumbelina didn't want to be the mole's wife or live underground. She loved the sun, flowers, and fresh air. However, the mouse insisted, and the girl didn't know how to refuse. One day, while walking through the underground tunnels, Thumbelina found an injured swallow. She felt sorry for the bird and spent the entire winter warming and feeding it. The swallow told her that it had frozen during the winter and fallen into the burrow. When spring came, the swallow regained its strength and offered to take the girl with it, but Thumbelina refused, afraid of upsetting the mouse. Summer arrived, and the mole decided it was time for the wedding. Thumbelina felt very unhappy. On the last day before the wedding, she went out to say goodbye to the sun. Suddenly, she heard a familiar song. It was the same swallow. "I'm flying away to distant lands," said the bird. "Take me with you," pleaded Thumbelina. "With pleasure," agreed the swallow. Thumbelina climbed onto the swallow's back, and they flew far, far away to a land where it was always summer. There were beautiful flowers everywhere, and the swallow placed her on one of them. Suddenly, tiny elves flew in from all directions. Among them was a handsome elf king. He was so enchanted by Thumbelina that he immediately proposed to her, and of course, Thumbelina agreed. The king was kind and caring. He gave her beautiful wings so she could fly with him. From then on, Thumbelina lived happily among the flowers and elves, surrounded by warmth and love. When the swallow returned home, it told this story to Hans Christian Andersen, and he wrote it down. Since then, children all over the world have read this tale and felt for little Thumbelina. That's the story, my friends. Let's spin the magical compass and return to the Library of Wonders. As always, I have a question for you. What would you have done in Thumbelina's place? Well, it's time to say goodbye. Until next time, dear friends, in my Library of Wonders, where new incredible stories and adventures await us.